Happy Wednesday, keto friends. I'm Heather, and this is What's Up Wednesday. It's 3 o'clock. You know what we do over here. So today is recipe day over on the blog, and I shared my newly created Keto Lemon Garlic Chicken and my irrational fear, or maybe not so irrational fear, of my Instant Pot. So for Christmas, I asked my husband, one of my big presents for Christmas was the Instant Pot. And I had heard all about the Instant Pot, and there's a couple of different brands out there, Instant Pot just being one that a lot of people are familiar with, but Cuisinart has one as well. But they're basically high pressure cookers that do a lot of everything, including slow cookers, sauteing. You can make yogurt, you can pasteurize milk, the whole 9 yards. I mean, like, they're pretty crazy in all of the things that they can do. They also come in different sizes. There's a 6-quart, 8-quart, and 10-quart cooker. At least for Instant Pot, they have those 3 sizes. And of course, because I have so many people usually sitting in my house at any given moment, I opted for the 10-quart high-pressure cooker. Now, let me begin by saying I have never cooked with a high-pressure cooker. Steam scares me, as it probably should, because it does burn. But I was like really gung-ho. I'm like, I'm going to get this and I'm going to use it and it's going to be awesome. It came in the mail, I'd say 2 weeks before Christmas. And I knew what it was because I'm the one that found it on Amazon. I'm the one that told my husband about it. And he said, well, just go ahead and order it. So I ordered it for myself, and then it sat in my closet until we wrapped it up, or he wrapped it up for me on Christmas Day. It took me probably a week to unpack it out of the box. The box was huge. I mean, 10 quarts is really big. So let's just start by saying that 10 quarts is huge. Took it out of the box, and it came with this big manual and cooking guide. And I started reading through it. And as I was reading through it, I started to get like scared of this thing, of this kitchen gadget. Was scaring me. And I don't spook or scare easily, especially when it comes to kitchen stuff. So I packed it all back up into the Instant Pot. I broke down the box and threw the box away, and found, luckily my house is pretty big and it's got lots of storage, so I was able to find a cabinet big enough for me to hide all of the gadgets and gizmos and manuals in, and then just shut it away. Well, my husband didn't let that lie. He kept asking me about it, said, do you not like it? You know, did I buy the wrong one? You know, what was the deal with it? He really wanted to know. And I think more importantly, he wanted to know if this was more kind of wasted money. Was this something that was really, necessary? Did I really need it? And did he just, kind of blow money for no reason? So every day I would think to myself, today is going to be the day. Today is going to be the day where I break it out and I just use it. I'm always cooking, so I know that there's something I can use this for. And every day I would, it would get close to time for me to make dinner, and I would chicken out, and I would get sweaty palms and nervous, and so I wouldn't do it. And day by day, it kind of just sat and loomed over me. And I don't do well with stuff like that. I'm somebody that really is good about conquering fears. And I know for myself that the more something sits and simmers and stews, that the worse it gets, and the fear gets bigger and really kind of unmanageable and not necessary. It's all self-imposed fear. So I'm one of those people that likes to tackle that stuff head on. And finally, I kind of had no choice. I was sick, and I had sent my son to the store, and I told him to get chicken thighs. Now, when I say chicken thighs, I normally get boneless, skinless chicken thighs just because they're easy and quick to cook with. He came home with 3 pounds of bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with them. So I started doing some research and started thinking about the ingredients that I had in the house. And I finally faced my fear. And it was one of the most momentous occasions because not only did I pop my Instant Pot cherry, but I did it in fashion and style. Like, I took this thing out for a test drive and tried all of the bells and whistles. I started off by using the saute mode, which, by the way, you know, I love my slow cooker, but what I don't like about it is that a lot of times I'll have things that I need to brown first or saute first before putting it into the slow cooker. So that makes mess for extra pans, and it's extra steps, and it's really one of those things that I tend to stay away from. Like any kind of dish that I would need to normally saute or brown first, I'll just maybe skip if I'm in a rush for time. This allowed me to saute, first brown the chicken thighs, which just seals in so much flavor. So like that's really, I think, the key is making sure you season those chicken thighs, brown those first. And then I took them out, sauteed the garlic and onions, put the chicken thighs back in once those were softened, threw the rest of the ingredients in, and 20 minutes later, it was done. And what was great was that the chicken thighs were so tender, and the key was not only browning them, but then also the last 6 minutes. So once the Instant Pot was done, I put those chicken thighs on a baking tray and stuck them under a broiler for 5 to 7 minutes until they were browned up, and then put the gravy on top. And it was to die for, really and truly. The family went nuts over this recipe. I went nuts because it was so easy to use the Instant Pot, and it was a game changer for me. And so I'm breaking up with my slow cooker. I'm going to pass that on to my sister. She may be getting an Instant Pot for her birthday, but I just need to get her over here so I can actually show her how to use it. And speaking of which, I'm going to do some videos of me using the Instant Pot so you all can see how easy it is. But the moral of the story here is, if you have a kitchen gadget, especially some kind of high pressure cooker like this, the new electric ones, get it out, grab it, get over yourself, and get over the fear of using them. They're so easy. And it really is one of those things, if you are short on time, it makes life so easy. Like, I was able to do my marinara sauce, and which my marinara sauce, it's best if it's sitting on the stove all day long. Really, 3-4 hours to get those flavors to meld. It's one of those things that I'll usually put on the stove at like 12 or 1 o'clock, and so by dinner time it's ready to go. But in the Instant Pot, it was done within like 10 minutes. Once it was up to pressure and then released in the steam valve. So maybe a total of 20 minutes. And it tasted just like it had been on the stove all day. So these are some like the time-saving things that you can do and actually have a really great meal in a whole lot less time, a whole lot less cleanup. And like I'm telling you, it's a game changer for me. No doubt about it. I want to say I am not a spokesperson for Instant Pot. I don't get any money. I don't get any credit for speaking up and for doing this video, although I am available if they would like me to be. But really, more importantly, what I want to share is just, there's so many different things out there that can make all the difference in the world in your cooking and what you're able to do in the amount of time that you're able to do it. We're all very busy, so what's better than having something that actually will save you time, save you cleanup, and make your life a little bit better. They're not expensive, whether you do an Instant Pot or the Cuisinart or any of the other ones, of any of the other electronic pressure cookers. Look into it, because I'm telling you, this will be the thing that really makes all the difference, especially if you're starting to really want to cook for yourself and make that transition from fast food or restaurant food into a healthier lifestyle of cooking for yourself, because there really isn't any substitute for cooking for yourself. I don't care what restaurant you go to, the healthiest of the restaurants, it does not substitute for real home cooking, and this is it. This is the game changer for you all. So over on the blog, you'll see some more of the stories from the kitchen and the fear and all of that stuff, and you'll get the recipe for my new lemon garlic chicken thighs, which really are to die for. The next thing I need to figure out is, I had so much gravy left over. I used it on the cauliflower stir-fried rice that I was cooking at the same time as the chicken thighs were working in the Instant Pot. and it was great over the cauliflower stir-fried rice. But I got to figure out something to do with the gravy because there was so much of it and it was so delicious. So if you make this and you have any suggestions of what we could use this gravy for, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you're doing with all this extra yumminess because I put it in the refrigerator and then ended up having to freeze it. So now I'm not really sure what to do with it and I'm getting ready to make it again. So I'm not really sure if you've got ideas. I'd love to hear them. In the meantime, come back next week. We'll be talking about being impeccable with your word. That's going to be on the blog next week. And it's one of the most important topics, I think, especially when you're looking at making lifestyle changes, but really for everything in your life, at least in my life. The being impeccable with my word was something that was, if I wasn't doing it, it was keeping me up at night. And the shift was everything that I needed to kind of move forward and break through some things that were really keeping me stuck. So I want to share that with you. So in the meantime, happy Wednesday. We're already looking at March next week. Kind of scary. This year's already flying by. And hope to talk to you guys soon. And leave in the comment section if you make this. I want to know what you're doing with the gravy. All right. Take care. Talk to you next Wednesday.